All right, look at that. I love seeing these folks, seeing them come in.
Absolutely. Somebody said in the chat, oh, it was Frida.
It was Frida.
Pouring the champagne. I love that. Oh, and Barb and Kate are still in Maui. Oh, I'm so envious of you guys. Trying to like peek in your little Zoom window and see if you guys have a beautiful tan.
Diane and Sally Joe, we were on a phone bank earlier today. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
And we've got Nathan Yale putting in Sunny Bellingham as well. Sunny contending maybe with the Maui that's in the that's in the chat. Oh yes, and Rebecca said she's going to be decking out for Biden's speech. We totally get it. There was some competition. Something else may be going on at this time. So we appreciate everybody for taking the time who is here to be with us, even though there's other things you could be doing. And we totally
they didn't return my call today, the White House. I don't know like what's the story there, but you know, AJ, I can see you here. She's usually got a back door to any of these things, you know, they could have pulled that off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but my uncle is no longer in the White House, so is closed.
Okay, all right. All right, welcome everybody. We're gonna get going. At 5:05 is our kickoff time, just so you know. Like the curtain comes open at 5:05.
And seeing more of our team hopping on as well. Good to see you, MJ, Daniel, Betty, Larcy, hey. Everybody looks good.
Nathan, what's Charles's walkout music? I totally thought about asking Charles what his walkout music should be. I don't know, what would it be? No, I'm not even gonna, I'm just gonna leave that right there. I got nothing to say. No.
I have no idea.
Welcome everybody, come on in. We're dropping into the chat where you're zooming in from today. You can see everybody else's and see yours. It's really great to see where people are at. One of the net positives about COVID is the ability to connect across geographical spaces really easily.
Absolutely.
That's why we moved all these things to 5 o'clock, Maria. It's because we used to do this stuff at like 7 o'clock, right?
Yep.
But we're like, wait, East Coasters, we gotta.
Yeah. I love the spread in Washington State as well. We've got, if you're seeing it, we've got Winthrop, we've got Port Townsend, we've got Buckley, we've got Federal Way, we've got all over Washington State. It's pretty cool. Buckley, I feel like I've been to Buckley. Vancouver.
It's near Puyallup.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
yes.
And Bonnie Lake.
Oh my gosh! I've been for in the fall how they do the haunted cornfields. And
Maris Farms.
Maris Farms.
Yeah, I'm right around the corner from there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All of Washington represented, or a lot of it looks like, and seeing in there as well a devoted fan from Western Wisconsin. Very cool.
Yeah, Richard Hudson. He's done a lot of work with us. Yep.
Good to have you, Richard.
The sun is out. Like I have this sunlight coming in, like from this other window, this big window over here. We have a real president who's given like a real speech and getting stuff done on COVID. It's amazing. What an incredible first piece of legislation by the Biden and Harris administration, right? I mean, like this is so good. This is so good. We could all be sitting here with Donald Trump having been reelected and not having the Senate, all of that. But we weren't going to accept that. We did our work. We did everything we could to not have that be so.
So there's hope.
There's hope for sure. Terry Gudger. Hey. Good to see you, Terry. What, Charles? What do you want?
Terry. No, I want to say hi to Terry. Hey, man.
I know Terry really well. Okay. We walked the streets together. Terry and I have knocked doors together. Okay. When you knock doors with somebody, you've gone to battle with them. That's Terry is knocking doors in her 80s. So I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. Okay. You all can knock doors. And she's probably making phone calls too.
I want to go knock yours.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do it again. Don't worry. We'll get there. Also, a
Within
note.
office, I mean, I don't care what I do as long as I get to do something that the state wants me to do.
Karen, you're
Yeah.
going to get to do a lot of somethings. Okay. You just wait. You're going to have too many somethings to choose from. Okay.
Cool.
And a note on hope. If we were sitting here today with all the negative things that David just described could have happened, there would still be hope. I want to make that note. Okay?
Yes, but somehow it feels more hopeful when you've got some sun and some kindness
Totally.
in your
Totally.
world.
Totally. Yep.
All right. Hey, we're going to get started here. Charles, you're not executive director yet. So just like, just hang in there for a few. Everybody wants.
Wait. No, it's really important that you said that. I think everyone needs to know I'm not technically ED into the 4th. So all of your complaints, keep sending them to David. If you have issues, they'll still go to David. Okay.
They go to Bert.
You want to blame somebody?
CP.
Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Who's to clean it up? David Domke. That's who it is.
Yep. So everybody, if you want to go on mute, that's great. I'm going to show our agenda and we're going to get rolling. And Maggie, I'll make you a co-host in just a second here. All right. This is our schedule for this evening. Welcome everybody to our celebration. It's a leadership team celebration with a particular spotlight on our new executive director, but a celebration of all of us and every one of us. This is our welcome. Really glad to have you here. And then you can see a whole bunch of things we're going to do. Maria is going to talk about our values and go through a little bit of our journey. I just made this word up about 3 hours ago. This is the community building term, communitizing. We're going to spend a few minutes with each other in small groups. We're going to ask Charles to say a few words about his leadership and what he sees for us. He's going to have a couple colleagues share some kind of forward-looking directions, some forward-looking pieces for us. And then we're going to have all of the rest of our colleagues who haven't played a significant role by like in one of those pieces so far are going to share kind of 1 minute pieces, 1 minute, like why I'm excited with CP or about CP. And in the midst of that, we're going to have a couple of our community members share as well in the midst of that, in the all-in voices, and then we'll close. All right. So welcome everybody. Really glad you're all here. And I'm going to turn it over to Maria. And Maria, you just tell me when you want me to to forward a slide, okay?
All righty. Absolutely. So we're going to get started exactly as David said with our CP values and a little bit of our story with Common Power. Because my gosh, just getting a chance to look at everybody's faces as they're coming in. I've seen brand new faces. I've seen folks that have, been with us from our first trips in 2018. And so it's just important for us to just reflect a little bit on that journey and emphasize on those values. So let's see them, David.
Okay.
We know them. I bet there's so many people out here that could tell us what they are. The mindset that we believe our democracy should be just and inclusive and that we've got a responsibility to make it so by taking action. Karen's already here, ready for those action steps. And I know so many of you are as well, and you're going to have that chance for sure. That mojo, we're doing that work together in community and in teams, and we're prioritizing next generation leaders as well. These things help us keep this work moving for the long haul. And then mobilization. We are registering and mobilizing voters in key states, and we are following the lead of our partner organizations. And these values, really it came about through the work as we were experimenting and doing the work. And many of you were there with us, and we're so grateful when we got started in January of 2018. And so what we're seeing at at the bottom of the screen there is a timeline. And in 2018, we were able to accomplish a few different things. David, you can go ahead and hit next here in that first stage. And it was super exciting when we were getting started because we were all ready, right, to volunteer and jump in. Well, we were getting started as Common Purpose. And in that first year, we were able to work registering voters in 12 states. And we were also able to start our PAC and also get our C3 fiscal sponsorship with Fuse as well. So by July in 2018, we were ready to get going and to expand. And that kind of brings about the second stage.
Well, hang on 1 second, Marie. I want to, let's just, we got a little time here. I just want to remember that moment in 2018 when I said something like, I think we're going to be a PAC. And you were like, we're going to be a PAC? Oh my God. Remember that?
I do, because at the time, all I knew about PACs was like Koch brothers. And I was like, oh no.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, the journey. I mean, that exemplifies the learning journey that I've been on about how to, really use the tools that we have in order to be able to fight back in the strongest way that we can. And also how we can, take these things that have been used to harm to heal. So I think we've done that in all of our values with CP.
Yeah, with the PAC, we don't raise money to then give it to candidates, which is what a PAC does almost always. We raise money and then we devote it to our leadership, right? Yep. To support doing work. And then we make the in-kind donations to all of these organizations for voter reg and for candidates. And that just feels so right. That feels so good, right? But it does. But whenever I talk to people at the University of Washington, I'll say they're like, so you're a C3? Of course you are. I'm like, no, we're a PAC. And they're like, what? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It also speaks to how nimble our team and our finance team has been able to be as well, to be able to work across those spaces. So, so much to be proud about. All right. So that brings us to what we were kind of calling the CP 2.0 period of time for us. And that was kind of in between 2019 and carrying us through 2020. But in 2019, we were able to accomplish some really incredible things. One of those being the hiring of our amazing leadership and our staff. I came on in January of 2019 as well, leaving my job at Humanities Washington, and Charles and AJ and MJ coming on at the end of the year, and many others. And oh my gosh, that staff has grown so much, which many of you know. But that helped us to do the really great work that we were able to do in 2019, which was doing work in Virginia and in Kentucky in our teams. We did incredible work as well in Florida, registering voters, and I think Wisconsin as well, and maybe even Maine. I think there were a few other places that we were able to travel in 2019. Just want to make sure I call those out in case there's some energetic teammates of those teams there. But they also allowed us to deepen our education work by going on tours in Virginia, being able to begin to learn from our partners and set even more of a foundation for 2020 through lectures and getting our mindset right so that we could hit it full force in 2020. And my gosh, in 2020, we absolutely did that, growing our staff now. Oh my gosh, I don't even know, is it 12 staff members? Maybe growing to 13. And we also made the shift from Common Purpose to Common Power. That was a big deal for us, stepping into this new version of who we are and kind of solidifying our vision as well of where we're going to go. But 2020 was a tough year. We we're able to be very flexible in that and to figure out how to remotely work in 20 states and have voting advocacy. And a couple other accomplishments came as well with our next generation leadership programs with Poder Común and with Action Academy. And I failed to mention CP Next that also was forming in 2019 and in 20 during the CP 2.0 portion, all of it leading up to incredible successes in 2020 and also a lot of energy that we've got moving on now, which is into that third space, that CP 3.0 space of where we're going in 2021 and beyond. And we're focusing on doing a lot of things. We're growing our staff and growing our educational opportunities with lectures, with what AJ's doing and more. We've been able to raise even more for our PAC, and many of you know that we are going to be launching a C3 of our own this year. We've been able to expand on our millennial programs, Action Academy and beyond, solidify leadership roles and have new and exciting things around that, such as Charles coming in and stepping into this executive directorship. And so we've got so many big, incredible CP goals that we've got coming up for everybody. And we're excited for all of you guys to be a part of it. That mojo, you guys as volunteers, as supporters, you make all of it happen. And we know that we really couldn't do any of that work without you. So thank you. Thank you for living all of these things out with us.
And Maria, just to set it up for where it's coming, that last little bit, the big CP goals, we heard Charles preview those with us, what he's going to share in a little while. He previewed those with the staff on Tuesday. And I was watching, I saw you as he was sharing those, and I saw you kind of like tilt out of the screen. You're like, I saw you going like, wow.
It was a lot, but I mean, hey, that's what we have him here for, right? Like, we've got to have somebody that's dreaming big. We've got to have somebody that's pushing us forward, because we can't keep doing what we're doing. We gotta be innovative and keep marching forward. So really excited to have Charles taking us there, even if the goals seem like a lot right now.
So what we want to do here is move everybody into some small group breakout rooms in groups of 3 to 4 people, and we're going to spend about 10 minutes there. So maybe 2 minutes for each of you to share, to kind of make sure everybody has a shot to share and hear from each other. And if there's fewer than 4, then you can take a couple more minutes. And the question or the prompt is that little timeline right there, 2018, 2019, 2020, now into March 2021. A lot has happened. We all have done a lot. And we have been an action organization from the beginning. We have what we call a bias towards action. So could you share with each other a memory or a meaningful piece along that way, whenever you came into the CP orbit, but something that has been memorable or meaningful to you along the way? Share with each other. We'll give you kind of like a 5-minute warning when we got about 5 minutes left. And then we're going to come out of that and we'll keep moving on. So here we go. I'm ready to pop y'all in there. You'll have to accept the invitation to enter your breakout room here. You got a breakout room waiting for you, sweetie.
I actually left.
Why?
I'm going to do a breakout room.
You're going to come back? Because you should come back to hear Charles.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, 5:30.
Yeah, Lisa, come back and hear me.
Yeah. Oh, hi. That's funny. That's funny. Right? She's like, I'm not going to. This is when your spouse is like, no, I'm not.
Like, I support you, but I'm not doing all the things, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
We gotta grab the baby real quick here.
Hey, everybody, the folks will be coming back from the breakout rooms in 4 minutes. Glad you're all here. Welcome in. Hey, David, people are coming back from the breakout rooms in just a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
do that. Sometimes you don't want to talk to somebody. I didn't expect to have to talk to anybody.
Our people generally like to talk to people. There's like, not everybody does, that's for sure. That's for sure. You used to want to, you used to like that.
Yeah. I just kind of want to listen to it.
People are coming back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Come on back. People are filtering in, coming back from the breakout rooms. When we're in first person with people, getting everybody back from the breakout rooms can take forever. Okay. But in the COVID world, you're like, you're coming back, whether you want to come back or not.
Yeah, I remember we used to hold our hand up in the air. Remember?
Oh,
Give
right.
people
Yeah.
during the in-person workshops, everybody hold your hand up until, and then everyone starts doing it. Get people to quiet down. It used to take like 5-10 minutes sometimes.
Oh, that's a
Alright.
teacher trick.
Yep, that's right.
Right, that's
Yep,
right.
exactly. Yeah.
Shout out, I have a new first time to CP Callie. I don't know where Callie is, but it was pretty fun. We got a chance to, she is buying her tickets to Virginia as we speak. I don't know where she is. I think we're on the same flight, right,
No,
Callie?
Georgia. I want
Oh,
Georgia.
Georgia.
I'm worried
I
about
could go to
Georgia.
too. I could go to Georgia. Yeah.
Callie, you got Terry all by yourself, right? If I was looking at, wow.
Terry's the best.
That's
Yeah.
a fire hose experience right there. Okay.
Hey now.
Terry, you're the awesome. So, all right, we're gonna transition here. What, Maria?
Yeah, I realized we've got to recognize something, David. I was just
Oh,
listening to Terry and how realizing how much of a superstar she is, and looking across the room and seeing our superstars. And there is one superstar, rock star in particular, that I just need to highlight today, and that is Nancy Larusso. Nancy, where
Nancy.
you at? If
Nancy.
Nancy is on this call, Nancy, it
Whoop,
is
whoop.
a very, very special day. Today is Nancy's birthday.
Oh.
It would not be the CP community if we did not take a minute to acknowledge and celebrate you, Nancy. We're so grateful for all that you did in Pennsylvania and all that you've done with us and in our work over the years. You're really one of our best supporters and organizers and volunteers. So we love you.
So Maria, I just have to
Yeah.
chime in, and really it's only been half a glass of wine. Nancy is always so supportive in the chat room, so inclusive, so positive, and she's just the best she models the best behavior for our volunteers at CP. Really,
Yeah.
happy birthday, Nancy.
Terry, you're so right. I don't know if you can all see this, but there's a little figurine up here. It's the Kamala Harris figurine, and Nancy gave that to Charles and me before we went on our 2-week road trip across the country. Now Vice President Harris, woo! Vice President Harris, right? But hey, Maria, what do you think? Should we sing Nancy happy birthday?
I was gonna spare at her / everybody from that, but I think if you know her and you feel so inclined, if you'd like to take a moment and just drop a nice message in the chat celebrating Nancy, not to steal your shine, Charles, but Nancy here, we got to celebrate Nancy. That's my girl.
No, I think, if we had to turn this entire event to a Nancy event, I'm fine with it. I can make a deck for her real quick, actually. I'll say one thing. I mean, it's aside from the real substantive things that people said about her ability to be a supporter and a leader and an example of how to like thread that needle. and lead folks, but also look to young leaders for their leadership and make room for them and make room for Black and brown young folks in our organization. She goes out of her way to do that. Aside from that, I mean, that's all really great stuff. If you have had any of Nancy's baked goods, you are one
Hey,
of the you're one of the special ones. That should be a bucket list thing. I'm just saying for folks.
Totally. Totally. So happy birthday, Nancy. We love you and we appreciate you and everything that you've contributed to us. And if there's other birthday people out there too, we think you're awesome too. We just happen to know that it was Nancy's birthday and she has been somebody who is just emblematic of all that we seek to kind of create in our organization. I want to set us up then for a chance for Charles to share some remarks for us. And I want to say a few words to kind of set to introduce Charles. Maria so greatly went through our kind of timeline as an organization, and we're in what we see kind of as the beginning stages of 3.0. 1.0 was everybody was a volunteer and we were just totally making it up. 2.0, we got a system together. We hired folks, Charles and AJ and Maria, all in January of 2019. And we had all this work, and then COVID, and we did all these states, and we won the presidency, and then Georgia, all of that. And now we enter into 3.0. And what has carried us through 1.0, but particularly through 2.0, has been a leadership team that has been our staff. Okay, our leadership team has been our staff. And it is the great privilege of my career to work with these incredible colleagues, so many and growing. And at the heart of that team has been a 4-person leadership council. There has been AJ Musewe, Larcy Douglas, Charles Douglas, and myself, a 4-person leadership council. And Charles and I have been kind of driving the bus for a little over the last year and a half or so. And it has been an experience, I think, that has taught us all a lot. We've all grown a lot, and we have been fortunate to accomplish a lot. What I shared with colleagues about 2 years ago when we were just getting to know each other and starting the 2.0 time was that I hoped we all shared goals with each other. And my goal was that I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe in our democracy. I wanted to believe in us as a team. I wanted to believe in us as a community, as an organization. That was my hope and goal. That I remember what it was like to believe in one way when Barack Obama was running and was elected, and that I hope to be there again. And you know what? That's where I am, but it's not the same as it was when Obama was elected. I believe in this organization. I believe in these incredible colleagues. I believe in our community, and I'm really starting to believe in our democracy. But it is with the weathered, learned wisdom of myself growing and getting older and figuring things out and learning things along the way. And so today I come to you to introduce a colleague of mine who I believe in down to my shoes. Charles showed up on the first day, our first workshop, and walked in. And by halfway through that workshop, we were chanting Charles's name, all right? Because he was ready to be engaged at Common Power. And he took he made decisions. He leapt right in. He got involved. And we have walked side by side. He works so very hard. He cares so very much. He invests. He's always creating and thinking. He never wants to be left out of a meeting. And this guy, I don't get that one right there. But he never wants to be left out of meetings because he cares, because he wants to have his hand in it. So there is no greater, I think for me, kind of exciting thing that I could have at this moment is to ask him to speak and to share a little bit of his vision. But I do want to say that my position at this organization is going to be as an associate director. I'm going to be the associate director of organizational support. AJ Musewe is a director of interactive history. Larcy Douglas is a director of Common Power Future, going to be our new C3. And Charles Douglas is going to be our new executive director. Tonight is a leadership team celebration. And it's a spotlight on Charles here for a bit because he's going to drive this bus. But it's really for everybody. It's for this whole group. So I'm grateful. I share that. I say that with love to all of my colleagues and all of our colleagues. And Charles, I don't really feel like the metaphor of passing the baton is the right metaphor. I really just feel like I'm getting into the passenger seat with, like, we've been driving and sharing, and I'm just going to be riding along in the passenger seat. I might take a nap sometimes in the back, but we're ready to go. And Charles, we will go with you. I want you to know that we will go with you. That is my commitment, and that is our commitment. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I think a lot. There are a lot of questions about what's coming next for CP, and there are a lot of questions about what it would mean to have me as an ED. And I think one of the things to note is that this is like another chapter for you. This is another chapter for you, and it's a big deal that you're not exiting. Like you're taking a secondary role, and that's big. And that's one thing that you've always done, and you've modeled that since the beginning. David Domke is not perfect. I'm telling everybody, just in case you didn't know, David Domke is not perfect, but he gets a lot of things right. He gets a lot of things right, and sharing power is one of them. Being super nimble is another one, and it's been a hell of a partnership, and it's not going anywhere. I actually think it's going to be more of a partnership now, because you're going to be in my ear all the time, and you will sleep in the back seat. Just so everyone knows, this guy loves road trips. Okay, he doesn't like to drive as much as he sounds like, though. Okay, he likes other people to drive on these road trips. That's my daughter who just woke up from a nap. Hey, baby. So she's gonna be in the auditory background for people. That'll be a teaser, because I know half of you are here just to see her. So after I'm done, we'll bring her in.
September.
That's right. Her birthday was on the 10th. Was yesterday. It marked the beginning of the pandemic, and also a year since we've all been in this mess. We had her the day that schools closed here in Seattle, and so we've seen her kind of grow up, and you all have seen her grow up. I think that's one thing I want to bring into this, is that when I join an effort, and David, you've seen this, and when I join an effort, I bring everybody along with me that I care about, and my entire family has become a part of CP. And that's what I want to start with. I want to talk about my family. So I'm gonna share screen here. Oh, I can't share my screen. I just talked about you being really good at giving up power, David. I can't share my screen here, man. It's gonna make me ask. It's cool. I'm joking. Okay, can you see that?
We see it, Charles, and we love it.
I was good. So shout out to Tacoma. I'm going to start with this. Tacoma is one of the greatest cities in the country, maybe in the world. This is not a diatribe about Tacoma, but I will say that if you look at some of the best folks that we brought in to CP leadership, they've come from this fine city. This is where I'm from. This is where I was born and grew up. There's a street in Tacoma called J Street, and on that street is the hospital where I was born. This is within blocks of each other. I think it's like within 10 blocks of each other. Hospital I was born, the daycare that I spent my young years at, the elementary school that I went to, I was born there in the early 80s, and the elementary school experience was during the height of gangs in Hilltop, in the Hilltop area. And it was a tough place to come up in. I was younger than most of the people, so I didn't get caught up in a lot of it, but I saw a lot of it and I experienced a lot of it. Where I went to church, that was my place, Hilltop in Tacoma. But my journey doesn't start there. My journey and my story doesn't start there. It actually starts somewhere else. It starts 2 states south of us in California. And I'm going to come back to this again. But one of the key elements, sorry, this is so interesting. This is like the loudest that she's been all week. One second.
Doesn't like that you are getting celebrated now.
I know she wants to be on the screen. Hold on a minute.
Charles, I want to share, like, I received an award, a teaching award in 2002, and our youngest son was 1 year old, and he came with Lisa, and he threw up while I was there. At that moment, he was throwing up. So I totally feel you, man. Like, she's just like, it's just the way in which they're like, hey, I'm part of this too. You can see Charles already left the building.
I love John in the chat saying that she's cheering for him. It's just like a very passionate cheer. Like she's crying with joy at how excited that he is to be our executive director.
Okay, I'm back. This is one of the interesting things about COVID. It's like I'm in my house. It's like, we're cooking meals for our family and everything. Family comes in everywhere. So this part of my story is so important because I was raised by a single mother from up until the age of about 7 or 8. And around that time, a man came into my life and took up the father role. He spent his formative years as a Black Panther, and he grew up in the Black Panther Party in Oakland. A lot of history is written about the Black Panther Party with their guns and their black leather jackets, and the bulk of that actual operation was about feeding kids breakfast. A bunch of churches getting together and feeding kids breakfast and teaching them Black history, which was not taught in schools, which AJ will tell you over and over and over again. This is the history we weren't taught. So supplemental education was community. There's a lot of the stuff that is the root of who we are here at CP. He grew up in that and he brought that to me. And he taught me what he knew. And he also taught me this one lesson that I take with me, and I'm going to give it to you. And this is going to bleed into everything else I talk about. To whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. He knew that there were many young Black boys without fathers in Tacoma. He knew that he was coming in and he was gonna not only teach me and be there for what I didn't have, but also lift me up out of poverty. He knew that. And I mean poverty, like eating dinner on a cardboard box poverty. Like that was my experience at a certain level. Tuna fish, cardboard box. That was my experience. He knew that. And he said, I'm giving you this. Your responsibility is to pay it forward. That's your responsibility. So that was my charge. That's what I come to this work with. Now, I didn't go directly into this work. I actually went to a place called Starbucks. I was a young father. I had my first child. That's my youngest child. This is my third child. My first child I had at 23. And I started my job as a barista. I was working nights on 56 in South Tacoma Way. It was a rough spot. One of our most frequent customers were the ladies of the night who would come in and buy a hot chocolate and use the restroom. And from there, I worked my way up in Starbucks, and I ended my 13-year career doing marketing and e-commerce, running the largest e-commerce website that Starbucks had at the time. And in between that, I actually helped start the affinity groups at Starbucks. The Black Partner Network is something that I helped form, not only the start of it, but also its expansion around the country. How to scale up from an idea, a club essentially of people, and how to bring that to more people around the country. My last year at Starbucks, 2018, or my last full year at Starbucks is when I found CP, March 3rd, 2018. And I met David, and he'll tell you the very first interaction that we had was the one where I had 2 suggestions. And one of them was about how to bring more people who look like me into this work, and also about the future, about how to plan for the future, not just right now, because it felt super reactive. It felt like we were putting out a fire, and that was fine, but we can't keep putting out fires. We can't keep reacting. So I joined a team that was headed to Wisconsin, a state I'd never been to and never wanted to go to. And that was my first experience with CP and doing this kind of work. I led 3 trips in 2018 with, and this is, people may debate in the comments, the best team at CP was Team Wisconsin, the best leadership team, one of the coolest experiences. That's where I found out that even though we're very different, you and I'm looking at all of you, even though we're very different in how we look and our backgrounds, there was more that we had in common in doing that work than I thought. And that's when I knew that we could build something here. I went on to knock on doors in all of these states through CP. This is formative work for me. Had never done it before. And we'd all never done it before, but we did. These are all the experiences that I had with, at the time, Common Purpose before we became Common Power. Work that I never thought I could do, that I jumped in to do. Partly because you all helped me believe I could do it. So what is the reason? What's the reason why folks could come from Seattle? What motivated us to move across the country and do all this work, knock on all these doors? Well, I think it's what my dad taught me. One of the things that I learned about Seattle over the course of learning about politics in general is that a lot of candidates would come to the area to do fundraising, but they wouldn't come to like mobilize voters or anything. They just come for money, because there's money in Seattle. There's an overabundance of progressive energy and resources in the Seattle area. What David Domke realized was that we could not just harness those resources to send over as cash, but we could also harness them as people. Like, this is people power that we could harness here, that we could do this work together. We've been given a lot, and we decided that we were going to do a lot with that. And we're going to continue to do that. So what are my big bets, David? Just so you know, man, I'm going over time. What are my big goals? What are we going to do?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, Charles.
I bet. I know. You should have bet money on this. We've already done the big thing we set out to do. We formed this organization to take down Trump. We formed it to do a lot of other great things as well, and we've done those too. We built a hell of a community. We brought along a lot of next generation leaders. We think we can do it better, and we can continue to do it far off into the future. So what are the big audacious goals that we've had? This is one of the first ones. These are our 7 key states. We're going to talk about these states every single year. This is where we're going to be focusing our election year, our presidential election year energy on, our midterm energy on, in every year in between. We're going to invest in these states. This is where we think we can swing the fate of this country. We're going to make them blue. That's what we think. By 2026, we're going to make them blue. We're going to make them blue in the presidential, and we think we're going to help make them blue at their state ledge levels. Maggie challenged me and she said, does that mean a trifecta? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for a trifecta in all these states. That's a big goal. It's not a huge lift in a state like Nevada, Virginia, but Texas, that's a tough lift. Wisconsin, that's a big deal. What is that going to take? What is it going to take to get there? That's the part that you should think about now. Don't think about how big this goal is. Think about what it's going to take for us to get there by 2026. What do we got to do this year to start to build a foundation to get there? Even if we miss it, if we get close, I'll take it. 10,000 volunteers. 10,000 volunteers by 2026. Right now, we're at about 2,000 roundabouts. And that's taking into account 2020. So these are all taken into account. 2020 should have been an outlier. We should never have to rise up like we did in 2020. If that's true, then how are we going to mobilize all these people? Well, it's because we're going to be more efficient at recruiting folks, at driving them to where the problems areas are in this country. 2,000 active volunteers. For us, an active volunteer is someone who's done some work with us, any work, from tweeting to traveling in the past 6 months. 2,000 active volunteers per year with CP by 2026. We actually think we can hit that. Next generation leadership, 260 next generation leaders flow through CP by 2024. Now, what's our definition of next generation leaders? Well, we think it's Gen Z folks for sure. You're thinking of that too, college age people. We also think they're millennials. There's an untapped group of individuals that are in the city that we need to activate for sure. But we also think these are Gen Xers. So here's how it breaks down. Action Academy, massive home run for us last year. 60 plus students went through that program. Larcy says she can do more. Okay, let's go. CP Next is working on all kinds of different ways to recruit millennials into CP, to educate them and show them that this is a vehicle they can use to do the work. Okay, let's see what we can do by 2024. I think we can get 50. That Gen X number feels a little low, but these are folks that are even tougher to get. And as Maggie will talk about later, we're going to qualify. We're going to qualify our leaders in a different way than we have in the past. What's next? 20 plus travel teams. 20 plus travel teams. We've done that before. Somebody said we did 20 some teams last year. After we get vaccinated, this is going to be super easy. We're going to do 20 easy. No problem. We did 12 in 2018. So what's the challenge here? These are led by intergenerational teams. We are going to intentionally take folks from the Gen Z generation, millennials, Gen X, and boomer generations, and that will form up the leadership team of these states. Not just talking about the body of volunteers, but the leadership team of these states. We're going to do multiple teams in a single state. This is bold stuff. This is big stuff. The logistics alone behind this is a heavy lift, but we're going to do it. We can do it. We've done pieces of it, and we think we can put it all together in one story. 3,000 total unique education program attendees in 2 years. AJ just had a series. She did 3 lectures with Dr. Terry Scott. 300 people went to that. David does lectures with hundreds of people. We think we can get 3,000. Why is this important? I mean, one thing is as a revenue driver for us, but education is an on-ramp. People ask how CP got to where it was. Well, it was activated by David Domke's lectures. There were people that learned. They learned about voting history in this country, about racial history in this country, and they said, we want to do something about it. That is the formation of CP. So what would continue people down that path, that mindset shift, learning about the history of this country, and then wanting to change it afterwards. That's what happens. And this last one is one I didn't talk to anybody about. I didn't show anybody this. David, this is gonna be a surprise to you, buddy. I think we've talked about this in the past in general, but I'm gonna put it out there as a goal by 2028, 3 CP communities sending volunteers to states who need us most. If it's true that our formula is we've got an overabundance of progressive resources and energy, We are not the only city. We are not the only blue state in this country that could possibly send volunteers around the country. So what does it look like to light up San Francisco? What does it look like to light up Los Angeles, New York City? If it works in Seattle, a version of this could work in each of those different cities. I'm open to figuring it out. Our country needs more than just us. So how are we going to get there? I'm not going to tell you today. The people I'm going to introduce are not going to tell you exactly today, but we'll start to talk about these principles, not just in today's event, but every event after this. Deeper relationships with partner orgs across our key 7 states. Those blue states I showed you, that the first 7 I showed you, we needed to flip blue. What's it going to take? It's going to take deep partner relationships, not just on election years. We're going to have to show up multiple times a year. We're going to have them over and introduce them to you and have them interact with you all. Further growth of our pipeline across our staff, across our contractors, leads, volunteers. We've got to grow that pipeline and bring it in people from different areas than we have so far. Folks are working on that right now. They're testing out new ideas to do that right now. Creating and sustaining formal organizer training. This is a huge deal. There's so many people that said, yes, I want to help you in 2020. And we gave minimal training. And we had a lot of faith in you all, and y'all had a lot of faith in us. And we just tried a bunch of things out. And that was great. And that was the best that we could do at the time. We can do better now. Now that we're past this, we can do better. We've got great ideas for training. And it's not just training on how to lead people, but it's training on how to work across the differences that we want to be there, that are intentional. It's not a problem that we're trying to solve. It is the diversity that we want to exist and how to do it the right way. And the last piece here is investing in a digital platform. I'm a digital dude. I love technology, and we have got to utilize more of it. And there are folks who agree with me, and there's a pathway to that. There are some of you who have given us some resources to head down that path. And we're going to start with taking something off the shelf that can work for our volunteers and our teams. And then we're going to dream a little bigger. And we're going to think about developing our own digital platform. What does that look like? Probably an app. How do we get there? You're going to help us. Mindset, mojo, and mobilize. What does it look like to get there through mindset? Well, it's got to start in the past, just like I did in this talk. History of race and voting in America. AJ is going to be talking about how you can get involved in that right now, today. Mojo, Maria is going to talk about a really cool idea that expands our relationships with partner organizations. She's just starting it off. We're not sure exactly where it's going to go, but she's going to speak to it. I'm proud of her for even thinking about it. And then 2 people, Kylie and Maggie, are going to talk about what they think fieldwork is going to look like for us, how we're going to do it, what kind of plans are in place for putting something structural together that's going to take us into the future, and then how you can get engaged today. I also want to point out that all of these individuals are women, and the best leaders have better people around them. And the bet on me succeeding, it shouldn't really be about me. It should be about these brilliant women that are going to come after me. AJ, you're up.
That was a journey. I feel like I need to take a deep breath. Thank you, Charles, for your honesty and for sharing so much of yourself and your history with all of us. Hi, folks. For all of you who I haven't met or don't know me, my name is AJ Musewe, and I really like learning. It's really as simple as that. I was lucky enough to be able to attend one of David's lectures, and I may have possibly asked him a question that might have stumped him at said lecture. And I was lucky enough for David to take an interest in me and the way I kind of processed history. And that's a little bit of how I got here. But through my experience in it, with CP, I realized there's a lot of things that we don't know about why we are in the situations that we are in today, right? As a CP volunteer, you get to go and engage in Black and Brown communities. And those Black and Brown communities that are disenfranchised have dealt with a lot. And in order for us to move respectfully, right, to take off our kind of Seattle liberal lens and move respectfully in those community spaces, we need to understand how those community spaces function and how they got there and the hurt that has been caused in those community spaces. And so what we need to do essentially is we need to unlearn together. Okay. And so the way that I have kind of created this space for us to unlearn together is with something I call AJ's Interactive History Emporium. To be honest, I just wanted to use the word emporium for something, and I'm really surprised that Charles let me do it. But essentially what it is a space for us, for you to kind of have a choose your own adventure in learning. Okay. And there's kind of three ways that I go about this. AJ's Lunch and Learn, which launched last year, essentially is an article club. Think of a book club, but I realized that because of the work that I do, I read books really, really fast. And so that is not necessarily conducive for a book club space. Also, sometimes the topic is so heavy and so big that we need to break it down in bite-sized pieces. Okay. And so AJ's Lunch and Learn is a space for folks to be able to take in little bits of history and to have a safe space, because that is absolutely imperative, a safe space for you to talk about and ask the questions that maybe you didn't realize you had and don't really know how to ask. That is the most important part. Okay. AJ special session, that came up because I realized there are certain people that I can amplify, right? Because CP amplifies my voice, I wanted to pay that forward. So AJ special session essentially is a space for me to amplify the voices of folks who are doing really amazing work that we may not have access to, but because of the connections I've been able to make, I then can give them that platform. One of my special sessions I did it with Dr. Terry Ann Scott. And somebody in the comments then said, you know what, you guys should think about doing like a history one-on-one class. And Dr. Scott has been a mentor and a friend of mine for a few years, probably we're going on 4 or 5 years now. And I was like, yeah, you know, let's do it. And something that started off as a comment, then went on to a text message, and then AJ and Dr. Scott Present was born. We recently just finished our first 3-part lecture series, and our next one is coming up in April. But just to give you an idea of what's coming up in the Interactive History Emporium programs, we have a Lunch and Learn that's coming up in May. May is Mother's Day month, as I like to call it. And so we're going to focus on some of the Black women, particularly the Black mothers who got us through the civil rights movement. Okay, so that date is coming soon. The next AJ special session is going to be on March 19th. We have a really awesome opportunity to talk and learn about the history of Black farmers in this country. If we're looking at the lineage of enslavement, Black people have worked this land for hundreds of years and yet do not have access to own the land that some of their families have owned for generations. They've been pushed out. And so we have the opportunity to learn from a 4th generation descendant of a Black farmer who actually is working on interviewing and creating a documentary around Dr. John Boyd, who is one of the main organizers of the Black Farmers Coalition. So that's going to be awesome. And those 2 are free events. And for those of you who are interested in kind of getting a little more in-depth history from the early days of the inception of this country, Dr. Scott and I are having a free event, Resistance and Abolitionism, on the 24th that folks can come and check out. And then our second series in kind of the history of the origin of how Black folks came to be in this country starts with the post-Civil War South, and that's on April 7th. And all of these are at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And for more information, you can check out commonpower.org/education. And I would love to walk with you all through this journey, because at the end of the day, if we do not create a safe space to unlearn together, we end up unintentionally causing harm in the communities that we are trying to assist. And that is the most important part. We're not there to change minds. We're not there to tell them what to do. We're there to amplify the voices that are already present. And we need to learn how to do that in as safe a way as possible, while also unlearning some of the harmful and toxic practices that we may have unintentionally learned. So if y'all have questions, feel free to reach out. If not, I hope to see you at the next event. Thank you.
Well done. And I just want to say, you're knocking it out of the park. Super proud of you. This all started as an idea, and you basically like brought it up during the height of our electoral activity in 2020. And I was kind of like, all right, give me the idea, write it up. And then you got to do it yourself. You got to do it all yourself. Okay. You got to post on the website. You got to do the Zoom. You got to do everything. And you taught yourself how to do all this as well as the content, and you're just knocking it out of the park. I'm so proud of you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Charles.
Good stuff. Next up, Mojo. Maria is working on this super hot idea. It's got pieces. And so I don't want to put a lot of pressure on her to tell you everything about it, but anything she has to say about it is worth you hearing because the principle of it is so solid. Maria Bando.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Charles. All right. A little bit nervous, but excited to be able to share this idea with you all. So I want to acknowledge first that this idea came actually as a part of a program that I'm lucky to be a part of outside of CP, when I was lucky to receive a fellowship at the last summer with the Henry Jackson Foundation that was helping me think a little bit and grow as a leader. And what I chose to do with the project space in that fellowship was to try and merge that work with the work that I do with Common Power, because I know how much impact that we have. And also this is where my passion is. And so with the coming together of these two spaces, I came up with this idea that we're calling Learning from Partners. But the goal is to kind of fortify and strengthen our relationship with our partner organizations. And so you all know when we do our work, we always do it first by connecting with a partner organization on the ground in the state that we're working with, and then learning from them and allowing them to lead the way in our voter registration and voter mobilization work. But I think a question that we can all ask ourselves, and a question that I was asking myself while I was doing this work as well in Nevada, in Florida, in Virginia, in North Carolina, and so on, is, what do you know about the values, the issues, and the histories of our partner organizations and the voters that they serve? And if you're thinking about that, and maybe your answer is not much, and a lot of the time, because it was places that I haven't been before, a lot of times I would ask myself that, and the answer, is not that much. And so it showed me that we have room to grow in that space as an organization, especially if you're hoping to kind of employ this mindset of working across divides and working in unity. If we really want to do that, we need to understand each other and understand this other community that we're saying that their votes are important. Well, we want to understand a little bit about why their votes are important and the things that will be affecting them as they think about casting their vote when the election time comes. And so with all of that and thinking through all of that, I decided to put together a series of Zooms and podcast episodes for our volunteers. I'm going to read this aloud because I apologize. I know it's showing up kind of small there. And before I read this, I do want to add that I have started doing episodes for our podcast and with CP in our podcast platform, which you can find on the website under the More tab. And those podcast episodes, I'm hoping, will eventually be featuring the work that we're going to be doing, learning from partners. And the idea of that work is that we are going to be learning about the histories and the issues that impact voters in the states that we're working in, but we're going to be learning from the partner organizations and selected leaders that they know can provide some insight and some wisdom to us. And we're going to compensate those leaders for their time. But it's really important for us to be able to engage with them and learn from them before we do some work. There will be some action opportunities as well that you can opt into, whether you're recruiting volunteers, petition gathering, getting out the vote, that kind of stuff, to support the partners around those other priorities of emphasis. So we're talking about CP doing the great work of registering voters, of mobilizing voters, and also supporting our partner organizations on the other goals that they have outside of, voter registration. And I'm hoping that if we're able to do that, that we'll be able to have some real authentic cross-community learning from each other. We have so much going on that divides us. So being able to learn across community in a time when we're not able to travel, because, before so much of this, I think we were able to learn when we were able to travel and be there and go to museums and go to the local schools and learn. And then also remembering that the action that we do is going to be community centered, right? That's our mojo. So we need to understand those communities. And my hope is that eventually it will all lead to these real tangible investments in the organizations and the communities that we're working in. And that Common Power can say confidently that, with our partnerships, we're supporting them, amplifying them, and uplifting the work that they have so that it can continue on for the long run as well. So this is what I'll be working on, hopefully pretty soon, starting with one of the 7 states. And then we're starting it off as a pilot with my fellowship capacity, but then we'll see if how many states I'm going to be able to apply this framework to. But I'm excited for everybody to be able to have this opportunity, and for me to be able to share this other piece that I'm passionate about in community-centered action with our work in CP.
Excellent. That's good. I can't wait for that to be available for folks. It should be soon. So look out for that. It'll be in an email. We'll announce it as soon as we got something lined up. Could be a podcast first, could be a Zoom thing first. So look out for that. That's right, girl. That's right. We were excited about Maria's program. Next up, lastly, but certainly not least, is Mobilize. And we're going to have Maggie present first, and then Kylie to talk about what opportunities we got going on right now. But first, Maggie, what are we cooking?
Hi, everyone. I'm going to ask you to, Charles, click once if you can.
Okay.
So for everyone, just also, I'm Maggie. I'm joined the staff of CP in February. So I guess it's been about 5 weeks. And just so you guys know my background, I was in kind of the corporate sector for all of my career. So Target, Amazon, Starbucks, and then saw the light and left that world to come over to CP, and I'm really excited to be here. But I'm excited also to bring some of those, like the way that we approach problem solving and finding opportunities that I learned in that area, and bring the good stuff, not the bad stuff, but the good stuff over here. So when we're thinking about field work for the future, I just want to, what have we been doing for the last 3 months? It's really been about reflection and analysis. So it's been sitting back and saying, what really worked in 2020? What can we improve for 21 and 22? We started in with the state team leads first to say, how was it hard for you? What was good for you? I mean, we know 2020 was a lot was asked of people with a major transition, and so into the remote world. So we really needed to know, what can we improve? So we've spent time in focus groups, we've done one-on-one conversations, we've sent surveys, and we've been kind of piecing together all of that information to come up with a plan. And you'll see a volunteer survey go out next week, which will add to that. We wanted to get our team leads first, and then come with the volunteers. So that's kind of where we are right this minute. So if you'll click to the next one, Charles. So what's next, and one more, is we're really, April and May are going to be about building and testing models. And I wanted to give you just a little bit of preview, which Charles already has talked a little bit about, like some of the key tenets we're thinking about that should guide our field work going forward. The first is we want to go with depth over breadth. So we have these 7 core states that we're leaning into. Maria's work goes to that too, to the idea of, like, let's be truly invested in these states so that we can learn about the communities, be more helpful, be more attentive and active. The second thing, and we've talked a lot about this, is how do we center intergenerational, interracial co-leadership for state teams? How can we be more intentional about doing this, bringing people together? And actually, the third one is about building more robust supports. Is how do we support people to be successful in those roles? So those places will not automatically be successful for everyone if we don't build trust, if we don't have training, if we don't support people with all the ways that they can excel in those roles. And we know that's true of volunteers too, that Charles talked about coming up with, if we think about digital solutions too, of ways that it's easier for you to engage with us. It's easier for you to hear from us. So we're thinking about all of that. So know that the next 2 months are going to be some big lifts for us to start testing out different ideas so that we're really ready to roll in the summer and going into the fall. And obviously 2022 being the big show, but we know we want to be doing work this year. So we're in that phase now. So I'll pass it over to Kylie to talk about the what's happening now.
Yeah, thanks, Maggie. Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. My name is, and for those who don't know, I'm CP's national coordinator. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we have going on right now, as well as what's going on in the future. So currently we're running our spring advocacy program. And so there are 2 types of advocacy. There's federal and state advocacy. On the federal side, we're advocating for an act. It's the For the People Act, which is kind of like common sense voting rights. But an example of something that's in the bill is automatic voter registration across the nation. And so that's really exciting. And then on the state side, we're fighting against some voter suppression bills moving through state legislatures. So right now, Georgia and Arizona. And if you want to get involved with this work, it's super easy. You can join our advocacy team and start supporting this program, which is really easy to do on our website under the advocacy tab. So that's kind of what's going on now, but obviously we're already thinking about what's coming up next. And that's kind of more in the fieldwork lane. And the first is the special election in Texas for the House of Representatives seat. So you can expect to hear a little bit more about that and our work about mid-April. And of course, like always with CP, we'll have a team component. And then looking kind of even farther into the future, we'll be working in Arizona again, thinking about the governor's race that's coming up with our longtime partner, New Virginia Majority. And I'm really proud that we're continuing this partnership and we've already kind of even been thinking about possible travel in the fall, which is really exciting. And I know that a lot of people are excited to get back to that. But I just want to take this moment to highlight that Virginia is one of these key states that we're looking at deepening these relationships with our partner organizations in. And so we're making sure that we're supporting them, the communities that they're serving. But I'm really excited about this work and hope to see you all getting involved.
That's awesome. And Kylie, you've been going to so many meetings with our partner organizations as we're forming new partnerships and trying to figure out what does a post-Trump world look like. So, I mean, thank you for doing that. This is to show you all that we have not been in touch as much as we were in 2020 for obvious reasons, but we're still getting a lot of cool stuff done. I'm super excited. I am so excited for this stuff to kick off and for you to see even things we couldn't show you today. You're going to see some faces of other team members here in a second, but they're all working on stuff that I'm so proud of. And this is just the beginning. I used to tell David this all the time. You know, this is the beginning of something really, really cool. Stay tuned.
All righty. So I think this next portion, we are going to be going through a series of mini mojo moments, like David had mentioned, getting a chance to hear from all the folks that you haven't been able to hear from yet, just really quickly about what they are excited about with CP coming up. And so to kick us off, we are going to start with Wale.
Hey, y'all. My name is Wale Akinwasotu. It's good to see a lot of familiar faces. So one thing I'm excited about for CP and CP Next is traveling once we get our vaccine. But right now in the near future, the program I'm working on next up is something that I'm excited about. It's similar to Action Academy, and the work that Larcy and Kylie have been doing. And really, we're just trying to take that model and make it relevant to BIPOC communities and millennials here in Washington, and bring them in and really show them the difference and, well, really the intersection of politics, civics, and grassroots organizing, so that people who are working in these spaces or who want to get more, who want to learn more about these spaces can come learn, build relationships across across this bridge, and then go out and then actually do this work and be better equipped with the right relationships and information to be effective in their communities. So I'm excited to get that program off the road and just get started in May. But really, I'm super excited about traveling and getting back in the field, canvassing with all of you and new folks as well. So thank you. I'll pass it off. I don't know who's next, but Maria, can you let them know?
Yeah, absolutely, Wale. I can't wait to travel as well. We're gonna go with MJ. MJ, you're next.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It is so great to see all of you. A little biased here, but great. Big, huge shout out to my Florida Force team. I miss you and love you all. And I am just super excited. I think as I think of all the amazing things that my colleagues are doing, AJ's learning educational work, and the amazing work that Wale is going to do with his program, and Poder Común is also definitely still in the works. A lot of work is happening right now to make sure that our program is running and that we are able to connect with as many young people as possible. So we're definitely, have amazing team leads that couldn't be here tonight, but are represented in the work. Andrea and Brenda and Shayla, who is actually from Texas. I'm just excited for them to be able to join us maybe in traveling this year, and just seeing the programs do what they are meant to do and be successful. I'm excited about Maria's work as well. Just excited in general about all the amazing things that my colleagues are doing, and how we're going to support each other, right? To make sure that our programs are running and that we are able to connect with as many people as possible. And we are just really grateful for all of you for your continuous support in our programs. And even though maybe we don't have, we're not able to connect that much in our programs with all of you, it is still really important that you all learn about them. And I'm happy that we're able to do this tonight so that we can get in touch with each other. And I'm just really excited about the future of CP. And now with the new direction, and now with our new our bright future with the new president now, there's so much work to be done still. But definitely excited because I know that Poder Común is ready, and I know that my colleagues and I are ready to do the work that is necessary to push forward our democracy. So thank you so much for being here. I'm excited, and I am so proud of all the things that we're doing, and I look forward to meeting you all again in the next Zoom.
Yes, MJ, we are ready. All right, next we are going to the Florida Force co-lead there with Bert.
Hey, thanks, Maria. Hi, everybody. I'm just really excited to be here with all of you. And what I'm really excited about with CP is that I'm going to get the chance to see our history, my personal history, your history, grow into the future with the next generation of CP leaders. It's the future that we wanted. It's the future we fought for. It's the future we marched for. Many of us, it's the future
I can take her,
we believed
baby.
in. And I'm just really thrilled that I get to do this work with these wonderful people. I get to walk with them and learn from them. I get to share the dream of democracy with them. And I'm like really lucky. And I don't know how I got so lucky, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. One of my personal heroes, Fannie Lou Hamer, said, "There's one thing you got to know about our movement. 3 people are better than no people." And common power, when you look at what Charles is going to do, oh my God, we're going to blow the roof off of democracy. So let's go. I'm in.
All right. Thank you so much, Bert. We are in with you. All right, this next person has been a part of our community as well as we grew and got started, and it is Terry Olsen Miller. Terry, you're up.
Thanks, Maria. And I gotta say, Maria, the technology, you as MC, it's just, you are a rock star. Thanks so much. So I had all these notes and then I threw them out and then I have 3 pages of new notes. I'm just gonna ramble for just like 1 minute and it's gonna be a little scattered, but that's kind of how my brain works these days. Honored to be part of one of the original groups when David was asking for feedback. I remember AJ and David, we were out on the deck at our house looking at some financials, and this was probably 3-4 years ago. Had a chance to travel with everybody, Florida and Virginia, supporting staff and helping you with some fundraising. So I've kind of seen it all. I guess that means I'm old. But what I wanted to share some words that came up with, you know, when we heard about Charles, and I love the phrase changing chairs. It's not like Charles and David are doing anything, that they're just changing chairs. All the chairs are still at the table. It's just he has a different chair now. Super excited about that. Super excited about everything you're doing. And what touches my heart so much, my mind and my heart, hearing what's going on in the last 3 years and the recap, Maria, that you offered us, is the trust. I would like to think I'm speaking for all of us volunteers and supporters and telling you that we trust where you have been, where you are, and where you're going. And I would like to think I can speak for all of us volunteers that are on the 70 plus. We trust you, we trust what you've done, and we trust where you're going. And I think for the leadership team, all of you, to trust that we can support you in a way that helps lift you up and in a way that helps you achieve what you all want in your personal lives and in your professional lives. It's just really, really exciting. So with that, I'm going to pass, and I'll save these 3 pages for the next time we talk, but just breathtakingly fabulous. And thank you again. Thank you. Thank you for the honor.
Terry, we are definitely the ones that are honored to have you in the community. We love you. All right, next we are going to go with Betty. Betty, what are you excited about?
Hi. I actually wrote everything down because I tend to ramble. So, but I am most looking forward to growing our community and uplifting the voices of young leaders and educating them on why this work matters. I believe that CP took a chance on me, and as Charles says, I want to be able to pay it forward. And I'm also excited for everyone to see everything that we'll be launching this year and for all the new people that will join us in this work. And I think this year we're definitely going outside of our comfort zones and tapping into spaces and places that we haven't been before. And I think that those places and spaces are really going to kind of showcase diversity is our strength and that unity is our power. So, yeah.
Yes, I love that. Diversity is our strength, unity is our power. I'm with you, Betty. We're with you all the way. All right, next up, we're going to go with the awesome Ellen Ferguson.
Hey there. Hey, Maria. Boy, I'm loving your energy tonight. I'm loving the energy of this event. It is so fantastic. So first, I want to add my voice of congratulations to Charles and to David into the seamless transition that we just witnessed. It's a moving and beautiful thing, honestly, because you know what? There's no ego involved in CP. It's all about the teamwork, being on the team, and it's all about community and building community. And I love being part of all of that. And it energizes me. Every time I'm in one of these events, I come in thinking I'm feeling pretty good, but I leave feeling like I just got shot out of a cannon. And, you know, we can all benefit from that these days. I was, like Terry, was very fortunate to have the opportunity to be an early investor in CP. I remember a visit with Charles, David, maybe AJ, maybe you, and just talking about, you know, the loose loosely formed plans, as I think Charles said, reacting to the 2020 coming up, and it was like building the plane while you're flying it, as they say. And obviously there was just so much to be done to save our democracy, and we all jumped on board, and it could not have been a better investment, honestly, in my life, in our democracy. I'm thrilled to be at talks with AJ and learn and listen and be able to take that knowledge and be an even better volunteer when we're traveling and in community. Love being around Larcy and the youth leadership at my age. That's the future. That's the future. So I am so grateful to be part of this community. I came to my activism, honestly, Charles, in Tacoma, where I spent my college years, different times, late 60s, early 70s, activist years. And now, I'm coming around to the other side, and CP is going to be the community that I hang with for the rest of my days. And it just gives me opportunities to do everything I love with people I love to make our country better for us all. So thank you. Onward.
Thank you so much, Ellen. We love you. We love you.
Love you.
I should have had that recorded.
All right. So next up, we're gonna go. Daniel, it looks like you got a lot going on behind you. You're planning.
Oh yeah, we're planning a lot of great things. I just want to say thank you to everybody, all of my colleagues and everybody in our community that's taking the time out of their evening, especially taking time away from seeing President Biden speak to be with all of us tonight. So first of all, thank you to everybody being on. Really quickly, I'll just say that I'm excited about CP because I have two very firmly held beliefs about CP. First and foremost, I believe that CP has the ability to continue to be a player in national politics and in voting justice across America. I very deeply believe that. And what comes with that growth, I also believe that we're going to maintain our values in prioritizing, valuing, and amplifying next generation leaders. And particularly next generation leaders who are BIPOC members of our communities here in Seattle, King County, and in Washington. So it's those two beliefs that have me most excited about our work with Common Power right now and for the next many years. And I thank you all for being a part of it.
Thanks, Daniel. We're excited to see what you've got coming up, what you've got cooking back there. All right, next we're going with Vanna. What are you excited for?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me. Hi, my name is Vanna. I am working in the finance and business operations here. What I'm most excited for, one, to travel. I'll echo the sentiments of Wole. I started during quarantine, so I haven't been able to really meet any of you folks at all. I've only seen even my team and my coworkers like through Zoom meetings and through happen chance at the office. Like we just happen to be passed by each other. So I'm really looking forward to being in the presence and in the same rooms as people physically. I'm also really excited to see everybody's programs grow. Being on the back end, I see all of the finances that go on. I know that all of these programs that people are running come from deep places in their hearts individually. They're very passionate about these programs, and to see an organization empower them to take that idea they had, put it onto paper, and then also put it into action, and then have us be able to support that. It's really like, I'm just excited to see it just flourish throughout the year. So I'm hoping to support that and maybe help out with the finances a little bit, but whatever it is, we just want to make some changes. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Vanna. All right, a few more. Next up, we're going to go with the lovely Ty Kramer. Ty, what are you excited for?
Hi there. Awesome to see everybody. So I just want to give you a couple of thoughts on one, why Steve and I are both committed and invested in Common Purpose, and actually Common Power, and it's for the long term. Common Purpose was the short term. Common Power is the long term. We just, all I could do here is just reiterate what everybody said. So I'm not going to go there. I want to say I'm super excited about Charles coming on as the executive director, and such a wonderful choice. And we've gotten to know him a little bit through some of our travels. There's a little story that I heard about Charles that occurred when we were on the Iowa trip. Steve relayed it to me because he was across the room and witnessed this moment. And it was an opportunity to hear Joe Biden speak. And Charles kind of made his way through the crowd up to the inner circle of people that were just waiting to talk to the guy. And as we know, Biden is a really personable man, and he likes to get up close and look at you. And I think he turned, this is the way the story went, he turned to Charles and like put his hands on his shoulders and just, eye to eye contact. And Charles said to Vice President Biden, Vice President, if you choose Kamala to be your running mate, you've got CP behind you. And look where we've gotten. Yeah. Charles, you're the guy. Thank you. So anyway, we're really excited about what's going on.
Well, thank you so much, Ty. And thanks, Steve. You modeled Charles very well there. That's pretty much how it went. Well done. All right. So this next person we're going to hear from is Larcy. Larcy, your fella's stepping into a big role here. How you feeling?
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I've been going back and forth with the little one. She's been a bit fussy. Anyway, first of all, congratulations, Charles. As a colleague, a friend, a partner, I am not surprised. It took a little bit longer, but we got you there. But absolutely not surprised. Totally proud of you. The family and everyone around you just fully supports this endeavor and just cannot wait and super excited to see where all of this is going to grow, and I'll be right here next to you. But the thing that I am absolutely excited about is just the growth of CP Future. I think one of the ways we wanted to make impact in community is to make sure we are accessing the different communities out there, the different generations. And I'm so happy that I got to lead the CP Future effort last year, with just some amazing college young folks that did it. So, for the past 2.5 years, Fuse Washington has been an awesome partner, and that got us there to the support to where we are now. And I am happy to say we are ready to take off the training wheels, and we'll be hitting the road as soon as we get that designation to make sure that we can do this on our own. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. I will be happy to report as of now, so many more of our organizing docs are in place. We are ready to hit that submit button on the application by April. And I'm hoping that at the end of the year or closer, actually before that, we'll make some big announcements on that front.
All righty. Thank you, Larcy. And we've got one more person to hear from tonight who is going to be the newest person to our staff with CP, and that is Ben.
Hi, everyone. Yes. Yeah, good evening. Ben here. And I'm new to the organization, and I'm honestly new to the work. So I'm super excited to learn. I'm excited to apply what I'm going to be learning, and just like seeing how the journey of Common Power so far, and then just hearing about the direction that we're going to go, what everybody else is working on, I am straight up vibrating with anticipation about how this is all going to go. And I'm excited for CP Future, which is where I'm going to be working on. And I'm excited to bring young leaders like me into the work. And I'm really excited to be a part of how we grow in the future. So yes, you can see like I'm shaking, I'm vibrating. This is how exciting this all is.
All righty. Thank you so much, Ben. All right, so that is it. That is our team. That's what we've got coming up in the future. What we've got that we are all super pumped and probably all vibrating at this point, excited about. Charles, we're so grateful and we're so excited. Congratulations. We're behind you. We're with you. And if I could just add anything else to all of this, we're talking a lot and presenting a lot, but I just want to emphasize and lift up that all of this is happening because of you all of our supporters, all of our volunteers, all of these stats that we're able to throw up and lofty goals that we're able to have is all because of you all. And, you know, it's not this way for everybody. And a lot of people have heard me share this before, but it really is the people. It's the people for me that keeps me here in CP, the things we're able to learn together across communities, even just within Seattle and then expanding beyond, and the action that we're able to take together, the impact that we have. I'm so grateful and so excited, Charles, for you to continue to lead us forward and to be doing all of that work together, further together. All right.
Further together. Are we
Further-
gonna play some
Further
music now? Or is
together.
David, you
Further
gonna sing or something?
No. Sure. No.
Yeah. Are you sure? I mean,
Hey, everybody, let's come off mute and let's just clap and share this moment together, folks.
Yay,
Yeah.
Charles!
Yeah.
Charles!
Hey, CP.
Leadership, yes!
Funny round in there. Oh, never mind.
Thank you all so much.
I did.
We're gonna slow down the Zoom. You can take off, and Charles will be the last one to leave the Zoom. I know this, and that's not just because he's become an executive director. It's because it's Charles. All right. So thanks everybody.
See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
we'll see you
Stick around,
soon.
and Charles will be happy to answer all your questions. Yeah.
That's it. Yes. Every single one.
Yeah.
Really,
Even
really?
about yourself, even about stuff I don't know about.
Well, that's a true leader, Charles. Just make it up.
I work
I
in
can-
politics, Terry, right? I can do that now. I don't know.
Oh, this was very, what a rock solid event. Oh, fabulous, fabulous.
It's a lot of good stuff. Is exciting. It's exciting
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Yep. This is good.
Everyone's impressive.
Thank you very much. This had to be the best birthday present ever.
Yes.
I'm just like, I know it's not about me, Charles. It is totally about
It is. It is. We said we
know,
got to plan an event on Nancy's birthday. That's what it was.
Nancy, it can be about you for 1 minute. It can be about you, sister.
It's highly embarrassing. Can I just say that it's highly embarrassing, but I'm like, I can't even focus. There's just so much that talk about a fire hose, man. That was a fire hose. I'm really glad it's recorded because I'm gonna have to watch it and to absorb.
And we can send it out to all of our friends that have volunteered that are not on the event, but around the country. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, please
Hey,
do.
Betty.
Send the link.
Hey, Betty, could you just tell us that message again, right at the end, your phraseology that you've got? Because we're going to take that with us.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Adversity is our strength.
And that unity is our power.
Unity is our power.
Diversity is our strength. Unity is our power. I think we're going to add that to our 100% certain or comfortable with 70% certainty. Pursue the good, not the perfect. Our boots, their ground, right? I mean, that's good.
I think that took me a while to write down, like condense everything I wanted to say. When I was like sitting there, I was like, I can't ramble this meeting. I rambled in the last one. I can't do it again. I was like, let's do something powerful. And
You did so well,
concise.
Betty. You did really well.
Fabulous,
You did really,
Betty.
really well.
That was growth.
Look at that is the September's head is that's like
Where's September's head?
with Larcy.
In the corner.
She has been part of the reason why she's been crying is because she wants the screen. She wants to get close and she wants to touch it. This is like a person born during pandemic. She knows more people like this than she does in person. And so she gets super excited to see like a box full of a bunch of faces.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's all I can say. Wow.
Her onesie is the epitome of the theme of her life.
Is
It
she
says,
just-
"Born into this mess, COVID-19."
Totally. Yeah,
She's too
I
cute.
like Ty's version of the Joe Biden story. Charles, that's a new version of the Joe Biden story. Charles did not pressure Biden into Kamala Harris. He pressured him into passing a 1.9 trillion.
I like
stimulus.
that.
Okay.
I like, let's just keep it going, man. I think that we should take this to our fundraising events.
Right,
We should totally
1.9
claim that.
trillion, right?
We should claim, and then maybe that we can add the filibuster in there or something. It just grows. It will grow. The story is that I handed him a piece of paper with a list of
I
demands.
really love this guy, Charles. He's awesome. He's taking over as director.
Well,
From
bye,
David
everybody.
Joshua.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch Biden now.
Yep. Hey,
A
everybody,
president
thanks a
that I can
ton.
love.
Thanks
Take
a
care.
ton.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Yep, really soon.
September's so cute.
She is.
She's so excited.
That is the reason why I stay. I stay to see September.
Me too. I just
So
gotta get I
cute.
just want to reach out and go, oh, those cheeks. Oh my gosh.
So cute.
Oh.
I
All right.
can't wait till
I'm
I
gonna
can
turn it
meet
off
her.
now, people. Okay, I'm gonna
Wait,
close it.
wait, Domby, you're supposed to hand over the reins. That means like
Yeah, that's
Charles
Charles.
is the co-host. So you got to go to bed early, man. Go ahead. Go
No,
to
no,
bed.
no, not to the fourth. Not to the fourth.
But if I leave right now, you're right. It's gonna close. Okay, so
Don't leave. Just put it on mute.
this is where my son says to me, "Dad, you can go to bed. You can go to bed, Dad. It's good." Okay.
September should have the last word.
Oh, here we go. Unmute it. There we go. Last word, girl. What do you gotta say?
That's my mom and my dad.
And she's pressing the mute, and she's really close to the goodbye button.
Okay, she said what she wanted without saying it. Okay.
Okay. Hey, David, thank you for hosting
You guys
this,
have a
man.
great night.
We'll see you later.
Good to see you all.
Bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.